Bad news. So, how did you settle on your name being Bad News?
My last name is Brown. And,
Okay.
I kind of just like wanted something to run with Brown because I didn't want to use my first name, so I just Bad News just came across my mind randomly. At first, my coach was talking something like, he said something like "beat him down, Brown," something like that. And I
Whoa!
I didn't like that, so I just went with like Bad News and stuff. That's where the name came from.
I love the name. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When someone's going into the ring with you, they find out they got to fight you next. That's some bad news right there.
Bad news already in the name.
Yeah.
So, what made you get into boxing? How long have you been involved in training?
I've been training for a year, a little over a year. I started boxing because I was training for football. I was still playing football. I was about to go semi-pro and make like $900 a game over a 10-game season. So I was just looking for some work and training during the off season. And I was at the YMCA one day and I seen this guy named Gorilla. Well, his name is Eugene, but on StreetBeefs his name is Gorilla. And I asked him about it because he had his hand wraps on and like his boxing shoes. I asked him where he was and where he boxed at, and he said Corner Boxing. So that's where I went at in Winchester, Virginia. And I signed up the first day, and I came back the next day. I started getting work in, and I just stuck with the boxing instead of football.
So you fell in love with it as soon as you put the gloves on?
It was like immediately, man.
So have you always lived in, where's the?
Cumberland. No, I lived in Severn, Maryland all my life. Then I moved here in Calvert in 2017. Graduated 2018. Then I moved out to Cumberland to go to school, college out there. But then I stopped going to college because money got kind of hard and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just picked up boxing and now I'm running away with that.
So, oh, go ahead.
So do you like have to travel like for when you have matches on like StreetBeefs and stuff like that?
Yeah, the matches are in Virginia, but it's not that far. It's probably like an hour drive.
So do you listen to, what kind of music do you listen to on your way to Virginia? You gotta be getting pumped down there.
Man, I listen, I don't know if you guys know, I listen to a lot of Shorty.
You heard of them?
Oh no.
I've never heard of them. You gotta put us on.
Yeah, I guess I will play a couple songs for you guys.
Yeah.
Like that, you know what I'm saying?
So, do you have a pre-fight ritual or a post-fight ritual?
I used to, but now at this point, I just listen to music. You know what I mean? Try to stay calm. And you can tell, like, even when I'm in there fighting, I just try to stay calm because a panic fighter is a bad fighter. You know what I mean?
So, how important is it to stay calm in a match?
It's very important because, like, I'm sure you guys watch a lot of my fights, and like the first 30 seconds of my fight, my opponent's always just coming out crazy and swinging for the fences, and and then after that, they're all tired. You know what I mean? And if I was to panic in that moment, who knows what I'll get hit with, or if I was able to block a punch or not block a punch. Being disciplined and being patient and calm is the key to boxing.
So, where do you get your fight style from?
I like, my favorite fighter is Sugar Ray Leonard. He's fast. I like
course.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of like, he's from the same area, not too far from me, but I try to emulate his style, but personally I don't think I emulate anybody's style that I've seen so far. Maybe like a Thomas Hearns, maybe because like I'm linky and like tall and stuff, but it's kind of hard to pick out a fighter that I emulate.
So, have you ever fought anyone that has had a similar body type with reach?
Kind of, but I did fight this guy. He was like 260, but he wasn't really skilled. But
I think was that on I don't know if that one was on StreetBeefs. Was that recorded?
Yeah.
It wasn't on StreetBeefs though.
It was on StreetBeefs.
It was.
He blew he messed his shoulder up in the second round, like beginning of the second round, so we didn't get to finish. But it was still pretty much back to the basics with me. Just staying calm, finding my openings and stuff like that.
So when you're fighting, is there a certain feeling to fighting that's different than any other sport that you've played?
Yeah, and I think that's what drew me to boxing so much because I did football, basketball, I did track, I did all these other sports, and the training and the workouts are kind of like the same. I could do squats, and that can be used for all three of those sports, and like all those sports. But me punching a bag is not going to help me in track at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what kind of do you do more powerlifting, bodybuilding, agility? What kind of training program are you on?
Actually, I don't lift at all because if I lift, I would my body will adapt to that,
Yeah.
and I would just get really big really fast. So I don't lift as much as people would think I do. I just work a lot of conditioning and cardio and stuff like that.
Do you know who John Jones is?
Yeah.
So I don't know when he had that suspension from the UFC when he hit that woman, the pregnant woman.
Yeah.
He took up powerlifting, and he said getting back into training after doing a year of straight powerlifting was probably one of the hardest challenges for him coming back. But he did notice you're not in MMA, you're in boxing.
Right.
He said it didn't really help his stand-up game, but it did incredible works to his grappling, and because he could pick people up so much easier.
And when you're that big, it's hard for you to just throw hands and just box because your muscles get tired, and then you get slower, and then it's just over from that point. So being like jacked for boxing is not a good idea, which is why I don't lift weights at all for boxing.
So is there a specific body type that you want to be at when you said you wanted to go pro and you're looking at it?
Yeah. The ideal weight for me to go pro is about 168.
What are you at right now?
I'm at 180 right now.
Okay, so you're gonna have to cut.
Yeah, cut big time. I mean, it's kind of, my body's weird right now. I don't necessarily eat the best. So I mean, I pick up and lose weight pretty easily. Like the other day, I went in the gym. I was like 177, and then the next day I walked in the gym and I was 185, and I'm just like 24 hours. I just gained so much weight.
So I don't want to distract from the topic, but me personally, I have pretty crazy hair right now. What are you doing with your hair?
I've been thinking my hair has literally been my topic, but I've been thinking about recently for this past couple weeks because I don't really. I had it in a fade at first, and then I cut it when my mom passed away, and then I grew it back into a mohawk, and then I got dreads from it, and now I'm just like I don't like the mohawk anymore, and I don't like the color right now, so I'm just going to change it all up pretty soon.
Dude, I think it looks awesome. Coming from one person, this is supposed to be a mullet. Okay? Coming from a person with crazy hair, I like it, dude. It has a good, Mike Tyson has the biting the ear. You know, you got the hair.
Does that like get in your way at all, or do you like get it like set up?
So no, I tie it up. Whenever I fight, I tie it up because I know that whenever my hair gets wet and it starts to sweat, I start sweating and it's just all in my face. So I keep it tied up whenever I'm doing stuff.
So you talked about your mom.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to comment on it, it's completely fine. We understand. Did she have a impact on the person you are today in your boxing career or the life choices you're making now?
Yeah, totally, man. She passed away in 2018, and I didn't start boxing until 2019. But like if you look at all my fights, most of my fights, like you'll see me wearing like a pink shirt or pink shoes or whatever, and that's for my mom, because she died of breast cancer. So I always just try to fight hard, for her to like dedicate to her, instead of just doing it for myself because it's bigger than that at this point, And everybody noticed it too. Like whenever, like my last fight, I didn't wear my pink New Balances because it was muddy outside, and I put on cleats instead. And everybody was like, "Oh, what happened to your shoes, man? Like, what happened to the pink New Balances?" Like everybody knows that I wear it for my mom, so it's kind of cool. That's kind of like my own trademark when it comes to the boxing, like with the color pink and stuff. So.
Yeah, because I was watching one of your fights, and then like after you wore the pink New Balances once, you kept wearing them again, and I noticed that.
Yeah.
I saw your Instagram post, and you said you always try to wear pink. So, is there a message that you would like to tell anyone whose loved ones have been battling with cancer? Is there a message that you'd like to share with anyone?
Just stay strong, man, because that's all you can do. I mean, just put your faith in God, and He'll do the best He can. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do nothing about it. There's no point of being down about it. Like, I was like that for years. I mean, ever since she passed away, I've been just mad, upset, and then I just realized that I didn't do anything. Nothing I could have done. Just stay strong and just make her live on through my life. You know what I mean? So.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So, moving on to.
Wait, hold on. I want to go back to your Instagram because your Instagram has like I think it's like it's not street beefs, but it's like a big ring with like people in there, like a giant audience.
Yeah.
Wait, is that like something new you're starting?
Yeah, I mean, since I can't remember my first fight that I put my Instagram handle in the video, but since that fight, it's probably like 6 months ago, and I've had like over 1,500 followers follow me and stuff like that. People are messaging me like every day and telling me that I'm their inspiration and stuff like that. And that just feels so good, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, you're amazing to watch. I can't even explain it. Like, the first time I saw you fight, I didn't know you were from Calvert. Then he was showing me later at our buddy's house. He's like, "You gotta see this guy fight. He's from Calvert." And I was like, no way. I've been watching this dude fight and never knew he was from Calvert.
Literally when we watch you, like when all of our friends watch you, we literally like sit on the edge of our seat waiting for you to throw your right hand.
And we know the end result of every single match. They're either gonna quit or be on the ground. What happened with that? What happened with that one fighter? I think you were 6-0, and it was his first fight. I remember the announcer saying you were 6-0. And that must have been your 7th when he got knocked down. And then he was just like, "Look, I'm done."
Oh yeah, that's probably my most popular fight. That fight's almost at 1 million views. So it's like 925,000 views or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that fight I actually struggled. I struggled that fight. I don't know if you guys could tell because like I try to stay calm and everything, but I struggled fighting left-handed people.
Oh, he was southpaw.
Yeah, he was southpaw, and because in my gym we don't have many southpaw fighters, so I never get that kind of work. So you know, it's just like I don't want to make a mistake and then I'm end up getting knocked out or embarrassing myself or something like that. So I mean, whenever I landed the punch and knocked him out after the fight, he told me he was like, "Man, you hit me good. I don't even know what you hit me with. I don't remember anything." I was just like, "Man, nah, like I feel bad."
It looked like you hit me with lightning. So have you ever been hit with something where it stunned you a little bit?
No, not in StreetBeefs. And sparring, sparring, yeah. I've actually sparred this pro last Saturday. We call him G Money. He's like ranked 17 in his division, and that guy put it on me pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty legit.
So you've never been? I don't think I've seen you been knocked down. You've never been knocked down.
No.
How does that feel like?
It's actually pretty scary, man. Cause like I know, like so far I fought a perfect career, but I mean, I'm not perfect, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just know it's coming. I just hope it doesn't come.
Yeah.
And I just hope that I can survive and be able to get up whenever it happens because I've never been tested like that before. So
Yeah.
It's kind of nerve-wracking. You know?
So, with you going pro, how does that work? How you I have no idea how you go pro in boxing. I've the least idea. I've never looked into it because obviously I'm not a boxer.
Yeah.
So
this year, well, last year was basically like the beginning, and this year we're stepping it up more, and I want to go amateur. So like get an amateur passbook and fight on amateur shows like every week, every other week and stuff, and build up that experience that I don't necessarily get from fighting the street beefs. And then after a year of fighting amateur, I'm hoping to get like around like 50 fights this year. But with the COVID stuff, who knows what will happen. So if things go to plan, I want to get at least 50 fights this year. And then if I feel confident enough and I'm ready enough and my weight is low enough, then I'll work to go pro in 2022.
So is there does your record now is that your record with StreetBeefs or is that just your amateur record?
That's just street beef record.
Okay, so does that carry over into your professional record?
No.
So when you start over, does the amateur league, that's technically your professional record, right?
Amateur would be my amateur record.
Okay.
They consider street beef amateur because nobody makes money from it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and amateur fighters don't make money, so that's what they call it. They just call it amateur, and just call it like that. But when I go official amateur with like USA Boxing and all these official organizations, then that's when my record will start over at 0-0.
So, I have a question. This is a personal question. I've always wondered it. I've never had gloves on for that long. Do your gloves get heavier when you sweat?
No, they don't get heavier. They my arms get heavier, but not necessarily the gloves.
So I've the only reason I ask that is because I've seen people say like, I don't know if they're legit, but they've said like when they sweat the gloves get heavier because it soaks up your sweat. But I'm glad to hear that that's not true.
Yeah, that would be a lot of sweat that happening there.
No, man, but yeah, we like what you're doing, man. So, you've only looked into boxing. You've never looked into MMA.
Actually, I've been talking with a couple of guys at my gym. I have one of my guys named Keenan. He go by Challenge Accepted. He's a good wrestler. He was a pretty good wrestler, and I'm thinking about doing it maybe next year. Like, I mean, it's just hard to say like with this boxing stuff, like, cause I don't know exactly when I'll go pro. But whenever if I can stick with StreetBeefs long enough before I go pro, then I want to work MMA a little bit, just because I know that I can probably be better at that as well. Like I want to test myself to see, and I just give myself one option. You know what I mean? Like I could be better at MMA than boxing, and I just don't know it yet because I haven't tried it.
Yeah.
So.
You have a good body type for jiu-jitsu.
See, I want to try jiu-jitsu. I was never able to do it. I don't know many people that know it, so I've just been doing boxing.
What's your height right now?
I'm 6 foot.
6 foot, and you're 180 pounds.
Right.
I wouldn't even really call that tall and lengthy.
Not really.
It's not. That's not as. Because like, at first I thought, I don't know if it was just like I'm looking at a boxer, but I was like, he looks like taller than me.
Yeah.
But I guess he wouldn't be taller than me, and I consider myself tall and lengthy. But you don't look tall and
And
lengthy.
that's why they want me to come down when I go pro, because you know that I'm a small guy when it comes to like 180 pounds fighting like 195 pounds, something like that. Those guys are pretty big compared to 160 guys who are fairly small, probably around 6 feet themselves or something like that. So that's why they want me to drop down in weight, because I'm not necessarily built. Not saying I'm not able to fight at 180 pounds, but I have the best luck fighting at around 160.
Yeah. Because you got people cutting down from 200 pounds going down to 180.
Yeah, you got all those guys.
It adds a totally different competitive realm to any sport, especially UFC and boxing have it the worst, because you're fighting dudes that should be at 200 pounds,
right?
But now they're fighting at like 180.
Yeah,
and
taking
like
all the extra water weight out to drop down.
So have you seen anybody go like cut, and it's frightening how much they're doing to their body to get down in weight?
I haven't seen it personally. I watched some stuff with the Ultimate Fighter, and I seen it, and I thought it was pretty crazy, man. Like those guys, like they're just layer up and sit in saunas like for hours.
Oh yeah.
Man.
I couldn't do. I've sat in a sauna for 10 minutes. I can't do it for 2 hours. I can promise you that. Have you ever sat in a sauna?
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's relaxing, but you cannot be in there for longer than 10 minutes. You will die.
I won't be sitting there for like 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
So have you said you've never cut weight?
No, I never cut weight.
Yeah. So you're waiting to see how horrible it's going to be on your body.
I'm not excited for it at all.
You got to watch that, because a lot of UFC fighters and boxers end up with their livers or kidneys. I forget which one it is. Probably kidneys, but kidney failure just from not taking in enough water.
Okay.
You know, I was watching videos on it, and there was this one fighter. I don't remember his name, which is weird because normally I'm good at remembering the names, but he literally couldn't make it to the scale when they went.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Who is that?
I don't know who it was, but I seen like he couldn't even fight the day of the fight because he was so sick.
That's crazy.
So have you ever? You said boxing's the only like fighting sport, like combat sport you trained in.
Boxing, yeah. I mean, I want to do like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, but it's kind of right now. I just want to make sure I perfect my stand-up game before I transition to something else.
Maybe you could be the next Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You could.
I could be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's never been knocked out.
Yeah, not in MMA.
Oh yeah, not in UFC.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
Wait, what
that.
happened? What happened?
He beat Floyd, stopped him. Like,
Oh yeah. I'm completely wrong. I guess not in the UFC.
Dang, I didn't even think about that. I've been talking about that for weeks. Like,
yeah, I've been saying that. He's
knocked
never
out.
been knocked out. Yeah, that's false then. How do you think the Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul is gonna?
And that guy beats Floyd, and I just gotta leave Earth, man. There's nothing to here anymore.
You like Floyd?
I love Floyd.
We were talking about him last time. I mean, we have a lot of respect for what he's doing, even though he's like the villain. You know, he's you know.
That's always the guy who's undefeated. Is always the villain. Everyone wants to see the underdog. But
Yeah. No, who did you want to win the Conor McGregor Floyd fight?
I wanted Floyd to win.
Really?
I mean, I wouldn't have been like. I guess I would have been very surprised to see Conor win, but it wouldn't have been like, dang, because he can't fight. You know?
He's dominantly a boxer.
Yeah, he's a dominant striker in the UFC. So I mean, coming to boxing when you can only use your hands, I just thought he had a fair chance.
Yeah.
But I mean, when he got to the later rounds, you know, the stamina came into play.
Yeah.
In the different sports.
He's not used to the 10 rounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that's a killer right there.
I was this is the only reason I was rooting for Conor, because I love Floyd normally, was that I love the UFC and I want to see the UFC fighters get paid more. Okay. The amount of money he was making on that if he won, it would have brought so much attention to UFC. I love boxing. I love both sports.
Yeah.
But seeing Conor drop a fighter who's 49-0 would have been history right there.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason. If it wasn't Conor McGregor, I personally love Conor McGregor. If it wasn't Conor McGregor, I would have 100% be voting. And yeah, I wanted Floyd to win, but not in that particular fight. You definitely think Floyd's gonna win this fight coming up though?
Yeah. I don't think he has a chance, man. I don't get it. Like people that don't understand. Like that man Floyd, he's been fighting for like my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been fighting for as long as I've been alive.
His whole life.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that guy, Jake Paul, has been training for what, 2 years? And he thinks
Something
he can
like
just,
that.
He can just come in and talk and just knock
Yeah.
him off.
It's all
like,
muscle memory for Floyd.
Yeah.
He's so much more
effortlessly.
experience.
The thing with Floyd is, he's literally before you decide on what you're gonna throw at him, he knows. He's playing 3D chess in his brain. He's looking at your feet. He's looking at your shoulders. He's looking at everything that might be a telltale sign that you're gonna throw. A right or a straight, a right hook, left. He knows exactly what you're gonna throw, and a lot of his game against Conor was letting Conor tire himself out. He knew what he was throwing, and you could see it because he was dodging them.
He didn't have to show any offense for a while.
No, and not. Conor McGregor's used to going. The longest UFC fights are five rounds.
Right.
He's not used to, 12 round. So all he had to do was tire him out. He just play the waiting game. Conor McGregor's great, or Floyd Mayweather is great at defensive moves. He's great at. He's more defensive. He's more of a defensive fighter than an offensive fighter, really.
And that's what makes him him. You know what I mean? Like people, like even myself, I try to emulate some of his stuff, like the Philly shell, and then like his pull counter, and like all this other kind of stuff. I just like study it and I try to apply it in fights and stuff like that. And I mean, it's been successful for the most part.
I don't want to compare two great fighters, but Floyd Mayweather, I feel like, gets a lot of how he's a defensive fighter, because Roy Jones Jr. is majority a defensive fighter. That's he likes waiting fighters out. He likes going the distance. So, do you think that Floyd Mayweather might be copying some of Roy Jones Jr. stuff?
Man, I wouldn't say so. I think Royce Jones was just good at making people look silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he danced in the ring and do all this other stuff, and he was like a mental game for him. Like he was just good at it. Floyd's kind of the same way, but it's just more disciplined when it comes to defense. I think Roy Jones lacked defense a lot, but he made up with it with a great offense, and that's what it is with his career. That's how I see his career, was a great offensive career.
Like Roy Jones?
Yeah. He has more knockouts. He has more knockouts than like Mike Tyson and stuff like that. And I didn't know that until right before Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fought. I mean, he had great power.
What did you think of that fight? Who did you think won?
I think that was BS, man.
Who do you think won?
Mike Tyson would whoop that, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, here's my point of view. Okay, I love both of them. I like Mike Tyson more personally. I love both of them, but I feel like the boxing, the league is so more oriented towards Mike Tyson. They want to see Mike Tyson win. If he won that fight, they would have gave it to him. They wouldn't have hesitated.
No, you look at every other news outlet source, they all voted that Tyson won that.
Exactly. So if he won, the judges would have called it for him.
I just told you that, like, every other judge from outside.
But it's also because, like, they're both great, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're considered to be, like, the GOATs, you know? When it comes to, like, heavyweights, it comes Mike Tyson, like, the first one to come to mind. But when it comes to, like, light heavyweights and, like, flashy speed kills and all that stuff, it's Roy Jones. So, when you have two legends come together, you don't want to send one of them home with a loss. You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened. And then it was just like, it was called a draw. But Mike Tyson won that one. I mean, like, he had more ring control. He controlled the ring the whole fight. Roy Jones was running the whole fight. I mean, I just think that's how it was. Mike Tyson one day just wanted to be nice for the cameras and stuff.
You think so?
I think so.
Have you ever, like, on Street Beefs, I know, like, they do, like, they call people out when they have beef or whatever, but, like, has anyone ever, like, called you out for anything?
Yeah, so you guys probably aren't familiar with this tournament. It's called Tough Man Tournament. And it's like basically a fighting tournament. Everybody fights the first day, and then everybody comes back the second day, and then you fight until you win or you lose. And you win and you go home, basically. And I beat this guy in my first Tough Man fight. His name is Alex Lemon. I beat him, and then a month later, he added me on Facebook and was like, "Man, I want a rematch." And on StreetBeefs. I'm sure you guys seen the fight when I wind up the punch, I was pissed, and then I just threw it, and I hit the uppercut after. That was him. Yeah, he was just he's a cool guy now. We train together and stuff like that, but he just wasn't ready to fight me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to come up with a question. I just messed up a question in my head. Go ahead. Say
like,
something.
When you're on Street Beefs, like, I know, like, that's, like, more, it, like, has a message behind it. Like, did you get into it, like, for that message or, like, for a type of, like, you wanted to fight?
I just like to fight. I mean, growing up, I fought a lot. I fought in school, outside of school. I got in a lot of fights. And the crazy thing is, I never thought to be like a boxer or like a professional fighter. I just like fought in the streets and all that stuff all the time. And so I mean, for me to do boxing, it's not a surprise to me because I have that aggression and that power to fight and want to fight. So I mean, for me to do Street Beefs is pretty cool because like I can go there every month and I can fight somebody every month and not get in trouble for it. You know, that's why I came to Calvert in the first place, because I got in fights at the mall and I was 17 at the time. My birthday was right around the corner. And I was like, man, I gotta change. I can't be fighting when I turn 18. So then I moved here to Calvert, and then that's why I ended up here fighting.
There's a lot of hate on combat sports. But what people don't realize that are opposed to combat sports is that it's the best way to channel that aggression.
Yeah. It's
the best way. Not only is it an art, but it's the best way to channel that aggression, get it out of you, and you're learning something. You're learning how to defend yourself. You over time fall in love with the sport, and then there's a career field that you could go into.
Right.
So it's changed from this thing that's frowned upon. You know what I mean? Not as much boxing, because that's an American sport right there. But definitely combat sports all around. There's always been a sort of hate on it. Yeah. But people don't realize that it's like, look what it did for you. You went from fighting in the mall, you moved, and now you're looking at going pro.
Right. And
you're great at it.
Exactly. It's crazy, man, because like I never would have thought that I would be like boxing or anything like that. Because like I was literally like a month away from playing semi-pro football, you know, and I'm about to follow all my dreams that I had since a kid, and then just like that, it just changed.
Yeah.
You know?
So is this definitely the career you want to pursue, or are there any other plans?
I mean, it's hard to tell because like I watch my fights all the time. I watch boxing videos, and I'm just like, man, this is definitely what I need to do. Yeah. But then the next time I watch like a football highlight, and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna play football again. It's just like I never really know which one I want to do. It's good to know that I could do both, but I mean, just picking one right now is kind of hard for me to do.
So do you take any supplements like creatine or any type of supplement? So you strictly do boxing programs. You said you don't lift weights or.
I mean, no. If I lift weights, it's like every couple months, and that's just because I'm bored, you know.
It sounds like Jake, except he's not boxing. So, do you run? You got a jog.
Yeah, I do.
You jog a lot. How many miles do you run?
Every time I run 3 miles. The fastest time I have right now is probably like 21 minutes, but I've been trying to drop it to 20 minutes. But 7 minutes a mile isn't bad either.
Yeah. No. So you average 7 minutes a mile when you run 3 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, I couldn't do that right now.
Oh, I couldn't run a mile.
Yeah, I'd be looking at it like a 9. My hamstring would be more than like.
I think the worst thing about picking up lifting weights for me, I have no cardio. sometimes I get winded when I'm benching. Like I'll put it back on and I'm like, dude, I need to catch my breath. I have no cardio. I can't run. I used to have good cardio. I used to be able to run forever. Now ever since I started lifting, I put that weight on. I gained 50 pounds. I used to be 6'1" and 145, 150 pounds, right around there. And then 2 weeks ago I was back up at 200, and then I took 2 weeks off of the gym for, the Christmas break. And then I'm back down at like 188 right now. So me and you actually weigh around the same.
Yeah.
If anything, you're a lot more built than me. Because you're 6 foot, 180. I'm 6'2", 6'3", 188 right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be hard to get that weight back on.
Yeah. What are your like your max for like benches and stuff like that?
So right now, bench for me, after the 2 weeks, I'm not going to tell you that, but before the 2 weeks, I hit 275 for the first time in a year. I hit 285. I was on the road to hit 295 a year ago, and then I took a month off the gym, and then I started to get back into it. Took me a year to get back to 275, and and then now I took 2 weeks off again, and now I can barely get 245 for 2 now, and. My body's just weird like that. It takes leaps, and then it falls back down. My body's weird, because when I used to work in construction, and I'd get off work and go to the gym, and my body was just so exhausted that sometimes I'd go in there, my max be at 275, and I could get 225 for maybe 2, because my body was so exhausted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean. I kind of agree with you with not lifting, because it's done nothing for it has affected my cardio so negatively. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm sweating just from sleeping, dude. I can't explain it, dude. My pillows are all yellow from sweat, dude. I have no cardio. I don't got no cardio. I'm running in my dreams, and I can't even run in my dreams sometimes. I got to take a rest real quick. So have you ever had those falls in your career where you are on a good track and then something sets you back?
Yeah, I actually haven't ran in a long time. Because I ran in the cold once, and it was 55 degrees. I put it on my Snapchat story and everything. I was feeling good, and then I caught the flu immediately, and I was like, that's enough running. I'm not running in the winter time anymore, and I'm just gonna run inside. But I haven't been running. I hate running on treadmills because they make my shins hurt.
Treadmills are actually bad for you.
Really, I figured, because every time I run, it just make my shins feel so bad.
Well, they're not. It's not bad for you if that's the only thing you're doing. Like, say you're not in shape but it's people neglect the running outdoors.
Yeah.
You need that impact on you. You need impact. Sometimes you need that high impact. Not only that, treadmills, you're not really propelling yourself forward. You're just lifting your feet up. You're just doing enough to lift your feet up when you're running outside. The way our body's made to run. We're supposed to run on. A lot of people run on the heels of their feet now, but our body is made to run on our toes and the ball of our feet, and you're made to propel yourself forward and keep your head forward, propel yourself forward. On treadmills, it's taking that away from you.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good point, because running on a treadmill, I often do catch myself running heel toe.
Yeah.
And instead of when I'm running outside, I'm on my toes all the time when I'm running outside. So.
And it's better outside and stuff, because you can see how much you've done. You're like, dang, I ran all the way from back there.
I don't want to see the same bug on the wall when I'm running.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you're not, dude. You could step off You could be on the treadmill and eating donuts. It's not that hard. You're in an air-conditioned room. You could step off for a second, get a drink of water. And when you're outside, you run a mile away from your house. You have no choice. You got to run a mile back.
Dang, I got to run back to the house.
Yeah. When I was a kid, we used to have football games in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I remember those runs back to the house when you heard your mom yelling. Oh, your mom or dad are yelling out there. You gotta get home. Oh, you've never ran that fast. You don't want to get an ass whooping. You gotta run as fast as you can. So, did you ever? You said you fought a lot when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Was there any points where you feel like you messed up or you went too far in an actual street fight?
No, never, because I've never started a fight in my life.
Really?
No, I've never started a fight. I've always been quiet, chill.
Mm.
For example, my first fight in high school, I was a freshman. was the last class period of the day, and my friends, I had one friend in that class. His name was Mason. We were always cool. We didn't have to talk all the time, you know, but we knew we had each other's respect and we could come to each other whenever. So he already knew how I was, and these guys went. You know how you go to the nurse and they give you that frozen napkin as ice napkin. So they were using that and they were just throwing it around and it hit me and I'm like, okay, I gave it back to him because I'm not throwing it to them. I'm not going to throw it in the trash or anything. Then hit me again. I'm like, okay, guys, just chill out.
He's asking for bad news.
And then I'm like, so I'm leaving and then I'm walking home to the buses and stuff. And I'm walking down the stairs, I'm almost outside, and this guy behind me and throw it at me again. And I'm just like, all right, that's it. I just turn around, and then I just hit him, and then we just start fighting and stuff like that. So, I mean, all of my fights have just been because people think the quiet people are soft, you know what I mean?
Have you ever lost?
No.
No?
I mean, me and my cousin used to fight a lot, really little, like, every day. I mean, he's probably the only person that beat me that's outside of my family.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this fights with your cousins and siblings are definitely what make you grow as a person. I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't fight over cereal when I was a kid. Dude,
my cousins used to do some jacked up stuff to me when I was young.
Like what?
It's like I remember probably the most pettiest thing that I can remember right now is first of all, I love my cousins. I love them to death.
That's how you know he's about to say some messed up stuff.
I was young. I was probably like 5 or 6, and my cousins are like a couple years older than me. So I'm outside, and then they're like, "Hey, yo, AB, come here." So I come over there, and he tackles me on the ground, right? I'm talking like on concrete, right?
Yeah. Oh.
And then he holds me down by my feet. My other cousin holds my arm, so I'm stretched out, right? And then I see my other cousin coming full speed, riding on a bicycle, and they run over me, torso to torso, and then I'm just like.
So they just full on jumped you.
and I, to this day, I cannot find a reason why they would do that to me.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, man.
Have you ever like talked to them like now about it? Like what was going through your head to do that?
No, I never asked them, but I mean like I played like me and my cousin, like the one who was actually riding the bicycle, we played the game all the time, and my other cousin, he makes music, he's a photographer, like we chill out all the time, and like we have a good relationship. So like I mean, like that kind of stuff, it just seemed like it never affected our relationship.
Yeah.
But I mean, back then. If I knew what I could do now.
What an odd thing to do. I don't. That's probably the weirdest thing I'm gonna hear today.
Yeah, like I just like out of all the things to like mess with someone, like how much thought had to go into it? Like you get his legs, you get his arms, and I'll drive the bike from down the street. Like,
yeah, like where'd they get the bicycle from?
Yeah, we all had bicycles, right? So that wasn't a problem.
At least it wasn't like one of those ones with the tires that are like this big. I've seen some dudes riding, when I go to the beach sometimes in the summer, I'll see some like 50-year-old men riding motorized bicycles with tires that are like that big around. They leave tire tracks all up and down the beach. I'm like, what's the point of riding them? Just, okay, get a dirt bike, dude. Don't get an electric motorized bicycle. But, yeah, no, I'm glad you're here, man. Like, this is a huge deal. You know, we not only do we support what you're doing, but we want to see you, you know, progress and become a great fighter. Not that you're not already a great fighter, but you got so much more ahead of you, dude. You got great things coming, and just know that Calvert is behind you. Bro.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm gonna be betting. I'm gonna start betting on sports, dude.
All right, don't go there.
I might have to gamble everything, man.
I've actually had a lot of people like DM me and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh, you can't fight. Put $2,000 on your fight, this and that." And I'm just like,
yeah, just keep the money. There's no point.
I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, if you can come fight me for free, why are you willing to possibly lose your money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, why lose your money and get a concussion? There's no point in that.
Get
We were
knocked out
talking.
and lose $1,000.
We had an idea about including segments into our podcast where we take a break, we do a quick segment, and I got a text, right, and I don't want to say his name, but he was like, let's do a segment where, you know, blah blah blah, that'd be cool if we took a break, did something like that, And I was like, let's have a segment called Box the Guest, and
No.
Jake can box you.
He came
was
up
just like,
with that
no.
idea, just
I was just messing around though. I just wanted to see his reaction.
I have 2 pair of gloves in my car if you want to go.
Dude, I'll tell you, you can save those gloves. I don't need them today.
Save them for the next fight. We won't need them here.
Yeah. No, so what weight gloves do you guys use in Street Beefs?
12-ounce gloves.
12-ounce gloves?
Yeah, I train in 16-ounce gloves, and you know, because you want to train heavier.
Yeah,
so
heavy.
that way you can feel light when you use a regular like 12-ounce gloves and stuff. So I use those. I try to use like hand weights, like 1 pound hand weights whenever I take my gloves off. I shower box with those too a little bit.
Have you seen the bare knuckle fighting?
That is insane. That stuff is crazy.
Oh
It's
my
crazy,
gosh.
The bare knuckle fighting.
There's a video on YouTube of this guy who literally just open palm smacks a dude unconscious. It's the wackest
Dude,
stuff
okay,
you'll
so
ever see.
have you seen the pictures of after the championship of like the bare knuckle fighting championship?
Mhm.
Their faces, dude. Okay, that they didn't go that long. They had cuts. They're not recovering from that. They had
No
cuts
way.
all over.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so much worse than any other. I've never seen someone get their ass beaten this bad. And the winner looked just as bad as the loser. So what are you accomplishing? There's not money in bare knuckle boxing. There's
Yeah.
definitely not women because their faces are beyond beaten. You know, what are they doing it for? The president of the league got up there and was like, if you don't fight, we're taking your money away. Why would you choose to go to bare knuckle boxing?
Yeah.
There's no point in it.
You know, it's crazy because StreetBeefs actually did one of those.
Oh shit! Never mind. I take everything back.
they had it with hand wraps though, like hand wraps only.
Yeah.
But those guys are freaking crazy. You would never catch me doing that.
You know, there's a certain amount of crazy you have to be to just be like, you know what? Fuck the gloves. We're taking this shit to bare hands. You know what I mean?
Man, it's crazy. Like, why you want to do something like that? Like, I don't
There's
understand.
no point. No
She's
point.
gonna make you
You don't
look
even-
worse.
You don't even need to prove how tough you are. Like, just put some gloves on and like save a broken nose or something.
Yeah. And even with those wraps, you said Street Beefs, that's not even as bad as the bare knuckle. Because with those wraps, you're still not, you know, there's less chance of you creating a laceration.
Right.
I don't know if they use the, what's it called?
The Vaseline.
I don't know if they use the Vaseline in bare knuckle boxing. Do you? I mean, if they did, dude, can you imagine if they didn't have Vaseline on?
Yeah. I mean, the point of the Vaseline is so the punches won't stick
Yeah,
so hard. You know what
yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
create cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a cut on your face?
I did by G Money. That he put a little cut under my eye, and then my eye started to swell a little bit. And I was like, I'm done.
Were you nervous?
No, I wasn't nervous. That's
Yeah.
the crazy thing, because I knew he was going to whip me. So I mean, I just had to just tough it out and just do what I could do.
Just learn from
That's
it.
the weird thing, like, because I've had cuts all over me before, and
You wanna go into that story?
but, no, we don't need to mention that on the podcast. I've had cuts on me before, right? And not related to that, because I'll explain after this. I'll tell the story. So, I've had cuts on me before, and the weirdest thing is you don't feel them, right?
Yeah.
You don't feel them. You're just like, oh, I mean, obviously there's some adrenaline going through me right now, but in your head, your mind makes it seem like, oh, what if my eye has just fallen out?
of my
Yeah,
eye.
like your mind will take you to the worst things. I think what Jake is talking about. Are you talking about a while ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was 12 years old. And let me just tell you, I don't think I want to do bare knuckle boxing. I got my ass handed to me,
Yeah.
and I don't think you understand the extent that this dude went to prove his point to me. I'm telling. I don't know how long it was. I don't know how long this lasted. Definitely in the minutes. Okay, it lasted into the minutes, maybe a minute, 2 minutes. But I was knocked out in the first second. So for about 2 minutes, I was getting my head beaten into concrete,
No way.
into a concrete floor. And you know what? I guess I'm just built different because, any normal person would have died after that. I just got, the funniest thing is I got up, right? I didn't know what just happened because the first thing I saw was, you got a problem with me? I didn't even have a chance to, he didn't want to hear the response to it. He wanted to see me on the ground. So I woke up with my book bag on my face, right? And have you ever been knocked out?
No.
So when you wake up from being knocked out, it's like you don't honestly know what's going on exactly. You have an idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up. Everything was dark when I got up, and I realized my book bag was now in my face. So I was like, what the fuck just happened? I get my book bag off my face, stand up, and I'm like, did this dude just punch me? not knowing there was about 2 minutes of him pummeling me on the ground. So I walk up to him, he's getting walked away, right? I don't know this. In my head, I'm just like, I gotta punch this dude back. I punch him in the back of the head. Look, it's like my hands slipped off his head or something, because he turned around, hit me again, and I was knocked out again. Went straight back to the ground. Everyone was just like, yeah, Jake, you had blood all over your face. What were you thinking? I get down to the nurse, right? School nurses. You need a doctor, and not a school nurse, because I get down there, and she's like, honey, go wash the blood off you. I'm like, okay. So I go to the bathroom, like, there's not really a lot of blood on my hands. So I wash my hands. I get back out. She's like, no, honey, go wash the blood off you. I'm like, okay. Okay. I walk in the bathroom. I'm like cleaning my arms. There's no blood on me. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking? I walk back out. She's like, go look in the mirror. I go look in the mirror. I got blood. I didn't think the human body had this much blood. I was like, is that my brain bleeding? Is it my mouth? I couldn't figure out. Yeah, that was the scariest part. I couldn't figure out where the blood was coming from. I was like, where is this blood coming from? And I had people tell me that this dude was hitting me, right? His knuckles started to hurt, so he started scratching my face. like okay, I think when you start to feel pain in your knuckles, I think it's about time to let up on this kid. He was like 3 years older than me, and he did that martial arts stuff. I was 12 years old. I was weak. That was the last thing I thought I'd get myself into, was a fist fight. You know what I mean? But
how fast that went around the school? Like, I'm talking like 20 seconds.
You know how when boxers win their match, they take a victory. When they're walking back, they're like hyping everyone up. It was kind of like that for me, because my walk down, it was across the school. Mm-hmm. So I was walking with the nurse and another teacher through the entire school, and people were I just remember seeing people turn around from their lockers, see me, and were like, oh my God. So it was like another sort of embarrassment for me. Not only did he beat my ass, but I got embarrassed in front of the entire school, and then took a lap around the school, like showing people I was showing people how messed up my face was from this dude.
I seen him from the inside of my class getting escorted. Like, he used to have long hair like this, like kind of like a Justin Bieber type of long hair, just red mixed with the blonde hair. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I hope I can take a punch better now, because I got hit one time and I was out cold. I really hope my chin strength has improved since then. So, have you? Do you think you have a pretty good chin?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been hit hard.
Really? Oh yeah, you've never been stunned.
I have taken some nasty body shots though that took me.
Those hurt worse.
Dude, you have no idea, bro. Cause like one day I was sparring with one of my coaches, the Wolverine, and he got a body shot, and I was like, okay, I felt it, but then I tried to fight on, and then the next thing you know is like I can't even breathe anymore. Yeah. And I'm just on the knee, and I'm just like, it's so delayed. It's like when you get hit and you get knocked out, you're out cold instantly, but a body shot is so delayed. And
they just leave that pain with you. Just let that settle for a second. See how you feel in 30 seconds. Have you ever got a liver shot on you? That's what those hurt. Oh, okay. So those hurt worse. Yeah. So would you rather have a liver shot or a smack in the face? Like say it's a cold day out, it's like 30 degrees out, you're out cold. You know when it's cold out, your nose starts running and shit. Would you rather take a liver shot in a normally heated room, or would you rather get smacked by like the meatiest hand ever on a cold December night? Which one would you rather have?
I'll probably take that liver shot.
Those smacks, dude, they take you. Those liver shots hurt. You might not be able to breathe, but those smacks transport you to a different dimension. Like did I just take a hit of like some drug or something? Because I can't feel nothing, but I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
It's just like, I've been hit hard, but like I always shaking it off. So I mean, I can say I've been hit hard, but I've never been like hurt. That was hurt to the head at least.
Yeah. Well, we're running out of time. We actually ran out of time. a while ago what we normally do, but this has
been a
been
great
so
episode.
fun, dude. That I don't
Yeah.
care how long this thing is.
I'm glad
But
to be here now.
yeah, but we need to keep people watching, and I'm not gonna go into it, but we need. But yeah, if you have anything you want to plug, man, like your Instagrams, Snapchat, Twitter, where you train at, what your plans are when your next match is, you know, Street Beefs, anything you want to do, you can just go ahead and look in that camera and let them know.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at AJ Keep It 100. Send me a message. I'll follow you back. You know, I might have another Street Beef fight on the 30th, so look out for that. It might be a title defense, who knows? But I'm just down for whatever at that point. So you know, just look out for that.
This has been awesome, man. Thank you for coming, and I
Thanks
hope
for
you can
having
make
me.
it again
Yes,
some point in the future. We'd
Yeah.
love to have you back on.
No doubt.
But yep.
So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video, and we'll see you later.
See ya.
Peace.
Last time